So good morning. I am going to be working on some energy work using a book, a pillow, and a towel, if you can find one. And basically what I want to do is just really open up the superficial back line. So in fascial structuring, we talk about primary curves and secondary curves. So our primary curve, like has been mentioned many times, especially in anatomy trains, is the thoracic spine. So it's the one that drags us down. So again, these are what they would call slow twitch muscle fibers. These are called fast twitch muscle fibers. So they work really hard to contract and we stay here. They work faster than the back line. So over time, when we have a baby, or watch a baby, they call it tummy time. And we as adults kind of sort of ignore our tummy time positioning. And so fascially, we need to re-educate that. And sometimes we need to even reestablish and stimulate that. So today is about bringing an awareness to it and really trying to work hard through that primary and secondary curvatures of the spine. So you're going to take your book. You want to have it about 1 inch thick, depending on your neck. So if you have a really head forward position, you might need a bit of a thicker book. For me, I'm not too bad today. And this position you want to be very quite conscious in, and that you don't want to overextend your neck or lift too quickly. So we are going to be going face down, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable for people, and that is also why I have this pillow. So I have 4 herniated discs through my lumbar spine, so I have to be extra conscious of my secondary sacral curvature and my position in my lumbar spine. So I usually put the pillow here so that it helps to support my first and second positions. So we also want to make sure that we have a place that we can stretch our arms further outward. So we are going to be taking the time to make some arrangements here. And what you really want to do is make sure that you're feeling quite comfortable with your position. So we are going to be taking our head and we're going to be placing it down onto the book. So you're going to see that there's some position propositions here. The other thing that I want to do, make note of, is that for us ladies, unfortunately, it's a little uncomfortable, but our towel is just going to go gently underneath our breast line, and our forehead is going to go here, and our hands can either rest underneath our pelvis or straight down. So what we don't want to have is wrinkles in the back of the neck. And we want to have our feet turned out slightly so that our heels are pressing outward away from each other. So we will keep our head, neck, and shoulders down. You can see that I'm relaxing in through my shoulders. I'm going to retract my shoulder blades and bring my elbows up. And exhale, bringing them down.
My dad did.
So once you've done about 3-4 of those, you're going to bring in attention to the neck. So you're just going to think about pressing the bridge of your nose into your book and slowly sliding it up so that your tip of your nose, or just the beginning tip of your nose, is on the book. Once you've established that, you're just going to very gently think of lengthening your head away from your tailbone, and you're going to actually press your sacral curvature down into your pillow, and you're going to begin to lift the head. So just holding there. So reestablishing this neutral is an interesting place for us to be. When you open your eyes, you should see your book. You don't want to be looking above you like this. So you want to have a nice length through the back of the neck. And if you relax, you're going to notice that as you do this neck lift, the lower half of your body wants to work. And that's okay. So if we take a look at our fascial lines, we know that our foot is, the arch of our foot, the peroneus, is actually a secondary curve. The primary curve is right through the base of the body here. We've got a secondary curve, which is through our calves and going into our hamstrings. So it's no wonder that when we lift the neck, Our body wants to work our lower half to support it. So what we're going to try to do is reestablish just the neck. So it gets a little bit complicated when we have to pay attention to our body in such a way that we're not overcompensating with our legs. So we just want to take a couple deep breaths, and again, think of making the length happen in the neck. So you can probably see my shoulder blades are going down a little bit, and I'm getting a bit of a lift through here, but I want to try to stay connected with my humerus or my deltoid area. So the top portion of my arm is on the mat. We want to think about pushing the chin back and just hovering that neck, just the tiniest little bit. And it actually works quite a bit. So for me, depending on where I am with my spine, I usually feel it quite bilaterally, meaning both sides, but today I'm really concentrating and feeling it in my right lower back. So that tells me that I'm a little bit compensating through there. And then bringing the head down. Inhale to prepare, exhale, center your body, allow it to be nice and heavy, and bring your head up, hovering just a bit, and down. And on this last one, pay attention to whether or not you can actually feel the work through the front of the body. So oftentimes you will feel it through the chest. I know I do. I actually feel it through my collarbones. And I can actually tell that I'm flexing my pectorals quite a bit when I do this exercise. The next position that we're going to take ourselves into is where we're going to lengthen our feet. So we're going to point our toes and lift them just off the ground. And we want to try to keep, same thing, we want to try to keep our upper body from lifting. So we want to be nice and heavy through our upper body. You're probably going to feel some tension come, but your goal is to move very methodically, very slowly, concentrating on staying very heavy through that upper body. And now we're actually going to combine the two. So this is similar to what we would do in Pilates as a swim or boat pose in yoga, but a lot of the time, unfortunately, people overcompensate and they allow their pelvis to drop and they overextend in their lumbar spine. So anytime you do any kind of post-lateral work or anytime you do any superficial back line work, you want to really make sure that you pay attention to the stretch afterwards. Once you feel like you've lengthened up there, we're going to go back into our cat position. So we want to walk ourselves so that we can pay attention to where our shoulders are. We're not back here and we're not over top. We also don't want to hyperextend through our elbows. You can see mine kind of do a really creepy back bend. And our towel is actually going to be under the heel of our hands. So I understand that we have some wrist issues, so we're not going to take too long here. And we just want to sort of allow our lumbar spine to begin to move. And then we're going to try to actually do a circle. And actually, we're going to call it a semicircle. Coming into a round back position, we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to bring ourselves back slightly and begin to press our pubic bone, our quadrant 4, our pubic symphysis, and really activating our deep abs. Our glutes will be working as we articulate up to a kneeling position. Once we've established that kneeling position, we want to check in with ourselves and make sure that our hips and knees are in alignment. The pillow that is here does support your knees. So I have, of course, why wouldn't I? I have had both my knees redone. So I have to be conscious of that. So my posterior chain should actually be really quite important to me. Once we get into this position, we're going to allow our neck to drop down nice and slow and steady. And we're going to just imagine that we're pulling the towel apart as we articulate down and through. And then coming back. So you'll notice that I'm not going down very far as I'm working my dura mater in my fascial line through my primary, secondary curvature in my neck and upper back. if you're interested in doing more workouts with me, I'm going to be trying to host them on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11 a.m. and Fridays at 11 a.m. And afterward, from 11:30 to noon, there's a tea time, but there's also an opportunity for you to book me privately on Monday, Wednesdays, or Fridays prior to my meeting. If you're interested in those options, you can email me at info@limitlessmotion.ca, or you can just try to find me on the Facebook, Limitless Motion, or Karina Ann Poss. Thanks so much for joining me this morning, and I hope you stay well. Namaste.
Daddy.